I can squeeze you in at 7:30.
Perfect.
And November 16, 2023.
But that's in 15 years.
Man, it got dark really quick. Hello everyone, we're back from our little break, and today we are making spaghetti, or bolognese. We're doing this in commemoration of November 16th, 2023, the very specific date given the Zach and Cody TV show from when I was a kid. I just couldn't pass up the chance to make an Italian-themed dinner for this date. We already cooked the spaghetti ahead of time just to make things a little bit simpler here. Now we set aside about half a cup of the cooking water of the pasta to add to this in a minute. So the first thing we're going to do is heat up our pot and add a fine layer of oil on the bottom. Now a little disclaimer, this is not going to be traditional Italian spaghetti. This is going to be a little Americanized, a little bit bastardized. Now that our oil has heated up a little bit, we can add in our onions first. And so while we wait for them to clarify, you can get the rest of your ingredients prepped. It is shockingly late. You can really tell that winter is set in. Now that our onions have half cooked, we're going to throw in first our mushrooms because they will also take a little bit of time to cook through. I'm aware that not everybody likes mushrooms in their spaghetti. If you're one of the people who's not a big fan, you can skip this part. Alternatively, if you're a vegan or vegetarian and you don't like meat in your spaghetti, then you can just do all mushrooms and just double or triple the amount of mushrooms for this part of the recipe. Can you believe it has been 15 years since the days when we used to watch Zach and Cody? Man, I'm old. Now that our mushrooms have reduced a little bit, we're going to throw in the garlic. Garlic almost always goes last in order to avoid burning it. Now, I'm a one-pot pasta type of guy. What that means is, rather than switching around pots and having a lot more dishes to do at the end, I'm just going to shove all of our vegetables into a corner, and I'm going to chuck in our ground beef right into this pot. Now just before our meat finishes cooking, we're going to throw in all of our spices. First one's going to be about half a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, followed by 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Chili powder in small amounts has this wonderful flavor to it that just enhances any meal that you're preparing. At least that's a very Asian way of cooking food. Another felony to the Italians, which is about 1 teaspoon to 1.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Same thing as the chili powder, it has a bunch of really rich, strong flavors that will just enhance the tomato flavor. 1 to 2 teaspoons of freshly diced oregano, about 2 to 2.5 tablespoons of sugar in the place of using stuff like MSG or other flavor enhancements. Sugar in a small amount is also a really good spice to use in order to get mileage out of your food and make this meal taste even better. However, if you are worried about calories or stuff like that, then just omit it. But in the long run, this is going to be 8-10 servings, and so each serving will come down to about 1/4 of a tablespoon. And then finally, salt to taste. As for salt, I recommend adding it as you go along. Now that we have a new spatula, we're going to stir them all up. And once our meat has finished cooking all the way, we are going to add in 1 to 2 packs of tomato paste, depending on the size of your pack. And finally, we're going to add just a little bit of that water that we cooked our pasta in from earlier in order to get the right consistency. Also, the flavor of the starch in the pasta will just enhance this entire thing. See, when it comes to cooking, it's a lot more akin to alchemy than anything else. You should have all the same general ingredients, you should understand a few of the basic processes, like the fact that you should cook onions before your garlic in order to not burn everything. But after that, exact measures are somewhat pointless. Every spice, every cut of meat, every pack of lasagna or rice will cook a little bit differently than the last, and so you don't have to follow strict guidelines. It's more of recommendations. It should be based more around your taste or the taste of the people that you're cooking for than some completely well-detailed cookbook. Baking is different. Baking is particle physics, basically. You get 1 teaspoon off and suddenly you have a cookie instead of a cake. Now we're gonna cover this and let it simmer on medium to medium-low for about 10 to 15 minutes. All right, it has been about 15 minutes. Oh, and that smells great. Wait, let me cover that because my glasses are not usable. Finally, we can eat. Parmesan cheese on top. And now, it's time to enjoy the sweet life. 15 years in the making, worth every minute of waiting. Here's some pretty amazing pasta on this one. I hope today I've been able to give you as much nostalgia as cooking this has done for me. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Bye!